All right, so it was brought to my attention that I skipped this part of the review. So this will be part 9. Here it's asking for the factors, and anytime we need to factor a quadratic equation, that means we're starting our t-chart of a times c with b in the bottom. So we're looking for factors of whatever a times c is that add up to b. So in this case, our a value is 1, our b is -2, and our c is -63. So a times c is -63. So we're looking for factors of -63 that add up to -2. So we can take our calculator and say, okay, 63 divided by 3. Well, that's 21. So we got 3 and 21. 63 divided by 6. 63 divided by 7. Okay, 7 and 9. Well, there they are. 7 and 9. If the 9 is negative and the 7 is positive, they would add up to -2. So we can do our factors by splitting that b value into +7 and -9x, and then we would group them. Now, what can we factor out of that first group? X. And then the second group, it's a negative, so we need to factor out a negative, and the largest number we can factor out is 9. Now we write our factors, x minus 9, and then we can divide. What's -9x divided by -9? X. And -63 divided by -9 is +7. All right, and here's a little trick. When your a value is 1, the factors you chose here are going to be your factors in the parentheses. So what I wrote here was when a equals -1, the factors you chose in the t-chart are the factors that go in the parentheses. Let's take a look at the second one and we'll prove ourselves right. A value is 1, b is -10, and c is 9. So a times c is 9. So we're looking for factors of 9 that add up to -10. So we got 1, 9. And if they're both negative, they multiply to a +9 and they add up to a -10. So we already know our factors are going to be x minus 1 and x minus 9 from what we chose here. But we can double check ourselves. Now that -10 is going to split to -1x and -9x. When we group them, the largest thing we can take out of the left is an x, and the largest thing we can take out of the right is a 9. So there's our first factor, x minus 9. That's right there, just like we said. And then the next factor is we divide. -9x divided by -9, that's an x. 9 divided by -9 is -1. All right, and let's try this last one. This one, we have an a value of 1 and a c value of -25. There's no b here, so we can assume our b value is 0. So multiplying a times c, 1 times -25 is -25, and we're looking for factors that add up to 0. So what two numbers multiplied together multiply to 25 but add up to 0? 5 and 5. One of them would need to be negative and one of them would need to be positive for them to add up to 0 and multiply to a -25. So we can, because our a value is 1, our two factors here are x minus 5 and x plus 5. But if you don't believe me, we can check. X squared minus 5x plus 5x minus 25. Now, from the first group, we can take out an x, and from the second group, we can take out a +5. So our first set of parentheses is x plus 5, and our second set of parentheses can be 5x divided by 5 to get us x, and -25 divided by 5 to get us -5. So just a cool little trick here. When a value is 1, the factors you chose in the parentheses are factors that go in the Sorry, the factors you chose in the t-chart are the factors that go in the parentheses.